The insurance sector, once characterized by manual processes and lengthy face to face interactions, is now at the cusp of a digital revolution. Technology is transforming every facet of the industry, from how policies are quoted to how claims are processed and managed. This shift is not merely about enhancing operational efficiency, but fundamentally redefining the interaction between insurers, brokers, and customers, making it more streamlined, transparent, and user centric. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Analytics Inside podcast, where we talk about the ever evolving tech space. And I'm your host, Priya Dialani. Now, insurers are increasingly using technology to help brokers serve more customers, perform better, and grow faster. Insurance agents are also likewise seeing a substantial improvement in everything, whether it's lead prioritization or post sales service, thanks to the sales acceleration platforms insurers are using to help brokers grow. Now, today, let's welcome Gaurav Gupta, Managing Director of EDME Insurance Brokers Ltd, to help us understand how technology, particularly AI, and of course, other emerging technologies are redefining the landscape of insurance today. Hi, Gaurav. Welcome to our podcast. How are you doing?
Hi, Priya. Hi, Priya. Thank you so much for inviting us. It is always a pleasure, of course, and I'm doing fine.
Great. Likewise, it's a pleasure to have you on our podcast also today, Gaurav. And, with everything happening around different industries and how technology is changing every facet of it, we are really excited to talk about insurance and tech today. So, let's get started by telling our listeners more about EDME Insurance Brokers and its particular specialization. And alongside that, we would also like to know more about you, Gaurav. You have over 20 years of experience across insurance, broking, corporate risk management. So, along with that, we also want to understand what's your current role at the company today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Priya. So I'll just take it forward. Admin Insurance Brokers Limited is a Indian homegrown broking company. We are, as of now, the India's second largest commercial broking company. And how it all started was, we are erstwhile it was known as the Aditya Birla Insurance Brokers. And now, of course, Aditya Birla decided to divest their stake in Aditya Birla, and that is how ADME came into existence. So it is the ADME Insurance Brokers is led by three PE funds. Samara Capital, Credor, and Norwest. That is how the company was born. So and going ahead, we are it is in the insurance industry in India. So it is very important that you have the numbers in your pockets. You have to be. It is pure and pure a volume game. So then we for our acquisition spree, So UIB Insurance Brokers Private Limited, which is a subsidiary of UIB London. So the India operations was acquired by ADME Insurance Brokers, and so now today, we a combined strength of almost 800 employees, presence in 20 cities, which are fully operational offices, and then we have satellite offices as well. So we are majorly into the corporate insurances, corporate or rather group insurances, and then we do a lot of retail business also. So retail is not the door-to-door retail. It is not B2C. It is B2B2C. So we have a OEM tie-ups with few large automobile companies in India. Volkswagen and Royal Enfield and Ather, just to name a few. So we have the OEM tie-ups on the corporate side, and we are also a composite broker in India. So not only on the direct insurances, we are present on the reinsurance side as well. And we are one of the largest reinsurance brokers in India, handling very, very complex and stressed risks. And our oil and energy and infrastructure is one area we have a lot of expertise on. So that is about EDME, and in fact, our expertise is into facultative placements and just like I said, energy is one of them. And because of our expertise, our exposure to markets like Latin America, London, and Singapore, they bring a lot of insights into emerging products, such as which are not there very common in India as of now. So parametric covers, cyber insurances, environmental liability. So they're not very common in India, but yes, they are picking up pace in this continent or in India, to be precise. So we have the ability to, to broker with multiple reinsurers across the globe, like I said, Latin America, London, Singapore, and, which fosters innovation. For instance, admit can structure multi-layer placements, combining traditional indemnity and parametric layers. We continue to invest in relationships, leadership appointments in the both on the direct and the reinsurance verticals, which brings decades of experience and existing relationship with global insurers. So, while experience in scaling insurance operations and developing cross-border broader programs, that of course strengthens the firm's ability to negotiate treaty terms and facultative placements across the globe.
Thank you for that overview, Gaurav, and so glad to understand the organization's core specialization and how it is creating an impact on the overall insurance industry. I think the integration of technology and scalable solutions is becoming so critical in today's insurance landscape. With that being said, of course, as technology is evolving rapidly, the insurance industry embraces innovation to stay competitive and also to meet the increasing expectations of today's tech-savvy consumers. AI, blockchain, and big data are, no longer buzzwords, but they're very important and critical for reshaping the insurance landscape. Now, this transition from traditional methods to digital processes signifies a very seismic shift in the overall insurance industry. So traditionally, insurance was, very transaction led, manual, and which focused more on placement and pricing. And today we are seeing a shift towards more data driven advisory. What exactly is driving this transformation, according to you, Gaurav?
Absolutely. So, in today's environment, all our customers, be it the retail customers or the group customers, they want, all the insurance solutions just at the click of a button. So that is where our expertise on the, on the technology comes into play. So for that, we have a CTO who has come in from Amazon, and because we wanted to have a person from outside the industry who does not come with a baggage and the typical mindset of being an insurance company or an insurance broker. So, of course, it is very, very important that we keep pace with the changing environment on the technology side, and that is where we have built our in-house tech development team for of approximately 50 odd people who are working day and night on bringing the best of the technology, best of the IT platforms for both our retail and our group customers. So, just to elaborate further on that, so of course, the employee benefit policies, which are very important. So employee benefit policies are, the group medical claim policies or group personal accident policies, and of course the group term life policies, apart from other, UDLI and but very common three policies are group medical claim, group personal accident, and group term life. So we have enabled the entire process through the AI, and we have created a portal as well as the mobile app in which all the details, everything, which is of course, we work in a highly secure environment. So all the data, everything is managed, it is, it is of course on the cloud servers and highly protected cloud servers. So you have the claim status of the clients, of the employees who are working in an organization, their health, TPA e-cards, their the network hospital list, the wellness services which are available on the web. So everything is available on our portal and our mobile app, which is a mirror image of our portal. And just to benefit, multilingual, because India has a huge it's a huge geography. So to take care of all these things, we have enabled our tech platform both on the online portal or the web portal with multilingual facility. It is available in and so we have tied up with Google. So where it is available in the vernacular language, whatever is available, the region wise, whether it is Bengali, Tamil, Andhra, sorry, Kannada, Telugu, Assamese, maybe even the foreign languages, French, German. So everything is available. The entire portal changes. So all these facilities, bring a lot of capabilities, a lot of user-friendly approach to the portal. And then we have the entire AI, working at the back end. So from the group HR side or from the finance team, if they want to do some, make some analysis on the what is happening on their policies, which geography the claims are coming, which relationship the claims are coming. So it is like a AI chatbot we have created on our portal, which we call it Insights, and everything is available. You just have to put if you want to compare your last 2 years or 3 years policies, you just have to write there on the compare my 3-year policy, and it will give you a summary of all the 3-year whatever has happened in the policy, whatever changes have happened in the policy. Plus, similarly on the claim side as well. So in case somebody wants to know, okay, where my claim is happening, which relationship, which gender, which what is the my which diseases or which ailments are more frequent. So everything is available just at the click of a button, and maybe just writing a sentence. Going further, we've also launched our WhatsApp chatbot, because what we feel is, in case of any claim, the first thing which is required is, your in case there's a TPA which is and in all the cases there's a TPA which is involved. TPA is nothing but a third party administrator who manages the claims on behalf of the insurance companies under the supervision of brokers like us. So the e-card, which is required to, if just in case somebody is, because of some emergency, somebody has to get hospitalized, then the TPA card is available. So on our chatbot, everything, your claim status again on chatbot, WhatsApp chatbot, the claim status, the e-card, the network hospitals which is nearby, and of course the contact details of our relationship or escalation matrix which is available. So that is how the entire world is changing, the environment is changing, and that is where like I said earlier, we are at pace with all these things in the changing environment.
A very fantastic perspective, Gaurav, and I think it's very important when we look at the insurance landscape. It highlights how the role of brokers is also evolving far beyond just facilitating transactions. And I think, again, this shift is also being accelerated by multiple factors. We have rising customer expectations, increasing risk complexity, and the availability of real-time data and advanced analytics. So I think it also signals a broader transformation in the industry, where it can become transform itself from being reactive to truly becoming forward-looking and consultative in nature. And again, technology is playing a huge role here, whether it's AI or automation. It's driving more personalized and insight driven solutions at scale. Yeah, great. So, you mentioned about the integration of IDME Insurance Brokers, which was, formerly Aditya Birla Insurance Brokers. So, the combined organization has begun operating under a common framework that brings together their respective capabilities across insurance, broking, and reinsurance. So I think this amalgamation has resulted in a broader operating scale, wider market access, and an expanded range of advisory services. So the integration of UIB India's capabilities with EDME's platform represent both a technological and a cultural evolution. So what were the biggest lessons learned during this merger journey?
The best part about the merger between UIB and EDME is that clients will continue to interact with the same teams within the industry verticals. In the sense, so I mean, it was not a small merger. So two very large companies coming together. So there was a lot of people. Some clients were skeptical that whether my relationship changes, my portal changes, or my the interaction changes with the people. So good thing is we managed to hold everybody, and that is where the culture and the values of the organization comes into play. So we made sure that none of the employees, whether it is EDME or UIB, everybody was retained, everybody was I mean, given their responsibilities, and their responsibilities were very clear. And processes, of course, they will become more like I said, digitally enabled, and that will, of course, reduce the turnaround times and providing easier access to policy documents and claim statuses via online platforms, which I spoke about earlier. So, and on top of it, the service quality, the client-centric culture, and of course the relationship management remains the same for both the organizations. Now, of course, it is EDME, and we still continue to offer transparent advices and local servicing across India, claims advocacy, which is very, very important on the both on the whether it is employee benefits or the larger risks where the complex risks are involved. So we have, I mean, one of the best teams on the claim side, on the technical side, where we have the expertise, on the risk management, of course, becomes very, very important. So claims advocacy and risk engineering support, they all remain unchanged. In fact, in the next maybe 3 to 9 months, clients will notice broader product offerings. We already have specialist teams in place. So we have a specialist team on the surety bonds, which is now, of course, there are a lot of demand on the surety bonds, which is coming from, especially from the infrastructure companies. Cyber insurance, of course, is very critical at this point of time. Trade credit, parametric, of course, it is a new product, but a very, very significant product line which we are bringing to India. And we have a specialist she has joined us from Singapore, one of the large reinsurance companies. So she's taking care of the parametric solutions for us. And of course, the very structured reinsurance solutions like it. So this improved capacity and pricing that will result from the combined scale and the global reinsurance relationships which we carry. UIB, of course, like I said, one of the largest reinsurance brokers in India. So now, with the help of UIB coming in to EDME, clients will gain access to international markets. Maybe the major hubs being London, Dubai, Singapore, and of course enhanced analytics and digital tools will be huge support on the risk assessments, benchmarkings and claims tracking, combined with specialist advice from seasoned treaty and facultative reinsurance leaders. I'm sure we will be able to deliver much more sophisticated solutions right from day one.
That's really incredibly insightful, Gaurav, and it really highlights how mergers today go far beyond just aligning systems. It's very important to align mindsets, cultures, and even long-term vision. And it's also interesting how lessons from such integrations often become a blueprint for future growth, whether it's about fostering collaboration, navigating change management, or even ensuring that innovation doesn't get lost in transaction in the particular transition.
Yes, Priya.
Great. Now, according to a recent, I mean, it's not very much recent, but Capgemini released its World Insurance Tech Report for 2020, in which a major theme was that insurers must turn their focus to meeting the digital needs of customers as big technology firms and non-traditional players continue to enter the insurance space. Now, with tech giants making a name for themselves in the industry, insurance carriers and brokers are under pressure to improve high impact areas like customer experience. And despite tech firms emerging as tough competitors, these traditional insurance agencies are also relying on InsurTech to boost their value propositions. So, as InsurTech platforms and digital intermediaries are entering the market, what exactly is the role of traditional insurance brokers today, or what is their core value proposition?
The traditional intermediaries maybe is not the right term, but yes, insurance intermediaries is a very, very important term, because once the client appoints us as a broker, so you have agents and then brokers and then the insurance carriers or the insurance company who are the actually so it is the insurance companies who are the actual carriers of the risk for the clients. So we as an intermediary, the broking market or the broker business, the market was opened somewhere, I mean, in early 2000, maybe around 2000, 2001. So there has been a sea change in the roles of an insurance broker. I mean, fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know how to say this, but yes, the kind of expertise, the kind of professionalism, the kind of technical innovations, and of course the insights and the global reach a broker brings in to the client. I would not say all, but most of the insurance agents, which was earlier, a lot of business was either placed directly with insurance companies or through the individual agents. So that has diminished significantly. Today, the I think almost 50 to 60% of the business in India, especially on the general insurance side, is being placed through a broking company. So, of course, there are approximately, if I can say, approximate ballpark figure. So there are approximately 600 odd brokers in India who are currently operating. Out of that, not everybody is very serious, but I would say, at least 10% of those, or 10 or 15% of the brokers, are quite serious about doing business. So, on the insurtech and on the new age companies which are coming in, as intermediaries. So their major focus has always been on the retail side. I don't want to name any companies here, insurtech companies, but if we see, their tech platforms and whatever technology they are using, it is basically on the retail side, B2C side of the business. So traditional brokers, if I could say so, like us, or maybe there's so many other big broking companies. So, there's no challenge to any of our roles, rather, because as compared to maybe a retail business, a group business is a different ballgame altogether. Here we are talking about thousands of crores, or maybe single organization, ensuring their thousands of crores of assets. So it is, we cannot compare it with a maybe an individual health insurance policy or an individual motor insurance policy. So, like I said, it is a different ballgame altogether. So, we need to have expertise. We need to have the, technical know-how to manage, and of course, the global reach, which is very important, because the with the limited capacities of the insurance companies in India, so most of the large risks and very complex risks are in the reinsurance market across the globe. So that is where companies like EDME, our expertise and our solutions, our innovative solutions, comes into play. So over time, you see clients will benefit from holistic risk management, which we adopt, that combines global reach, like I said, analytics, and EDME is, we have a ambition of becoming to be a multinational broker. Means client will have a partner capable of supporting them throughout their growth journey. So all these, the new age insurtech companies, they do not have a global presence as of now, because retail, like I said, they're majorly on the retail side. But as EDME, we are planning to expand outside India as well. And very shortly, you will hear that, we have started our operations in Singapore and Dubai. And maybe, we'll be going to London market as well. So we are looking at assets in these three markets where we can have a presence. So, they will have all the clients, all large clients will have a partner capable of supporting them throughout their growth journey, whether it is India, because, there are so many Indian companies going multinational. They have manufacturing units outside India. They have their, for example, the cellular network companies, they have their operations in Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, or maybe, in the African region, with a lot of construction companies going to countries like Afghanistan and maybe other Middle East countries and Far East countries, where, the lot of development is happening, and Indian organizations are playing a very, very important role in their growth or development strategy. So brokers like us, who have the reach, who have the expertise, who have the, like I said, global reach and relationship with the reinsurance markets, we are in the best position to take care of all these requirements of Indian large multinational clients. So that, of course, I don't see any competition with the insurtech companies. But yes, I'm sure we are keeping our guards up. So we'll take care of all these things, because all these large projects are very complex, and we'll have to keep on navigating the regulatory requirements also in all these countries. So ADMIC has such a multi-layer placement, combining traditional indemnity and other layering of the programs. We do a lot of offshore and wind projects. Like I said, we are one of the market leaders on the energy and the oil and energy side. So infrastructure mega projects, which are again very complex, whether in India or outside India. And maybe, there are some distressed industrial risks, maybe, chemical industries or the plastic industry, which is considered not a very favorable risk from the fire point of view or from the risk point of view. So, and the domestic capacity is also constrained. So that is where our role as a global reinsurance broker as with our reach, like I said, in international markets. That is where our expertise come in. So of course, there is competition. There is huge competition in our market, but I'm sure we are ready for it, and we have the wherewithal to take care of all these things.
Right, and I think that's an insightful perspective, Gaurav, and it also reinforces the idea that the future isn't about brokers versus insurtech. It's more about conversion. The brokers who will thrive are the ones who embrace digital tools while doubling down on relationship building, credibility, and domain expertise.
Absolutely, absolutely. That
Yeah.
is what we're working on. Like I said earlier, also. So that is where, I mean, we have a in-house tech development team. So that gives us a lot of flexibility on customizing the solutions for the tech solutions for our clients. So if
Right.
tomorrow, some clients come back to us and they say that, I want to see where my claims are happening. I want to see all my records which are, pertaining to a claim, and what is my claim status. So everything is, we can customize within maybe a couple of days time. We can customize the solutions, and we can customize our portal and the, like I said, insights portal which we are developing, or which is already there. So we have the flexibility with our in-house team to convert that demand, or that requirement into solutions, just maybe in a couple of days time.
Right, definitely. And I think to remain competitive in a rapidly evolving world, insurers must adopt a bold, enterprise-wide vision for AI, fundamentally rewiring their operations and embedding AI into every aspect of their organization. And innovations in generative AI are also set to support underwriters with automations like automated policy drafting and compliance documentation. Additionally, it will also improve customer experiences through personalized materials and proposals, whereas technologies like AI will allow insurers to offer tailored products based on customer behavior and preferences, driving higher conversions rate. And I think that's where the future of insurance writing will be, where we will be witnessing more conversions of AI and ensuring hyper personalized services. Well,
Absolutely.
thank you so much,
And
Gaurav.
yeah, just
Yeah.
to add one more thing here,
Yes.
because the on the technology side, so we are one of the pioneers in integrating our tech systems with the insurance companies directly also. So that will give a real time status of the claims and the policy documents and the endorsements which are happening during the policy year. And we are also integrating, we are going a step further. So of course, the integration with, like I said, integration with the insurance companies and TPAs are very important. And also we are integrating with the HRMS portals of the clients as well. So to have a seamless data flow from their side on the, like I said, employee benefit, for example. So any new joinees or any exits during the year, during the policy year for the employee benefit policies. So it is captured on a real time basis. So as and when the data is entered into their system, into their HRMS system, it is directly flown into to our system as well on a real time basis. So that of course gives a lot of comfort to the organizations. So there is no manual Excel work which is happening. Everything is moving through the portal and the through the on the tech environment.
Right, Gaurav. And thank you for your insights, Gaurav, and helping us understand that the impact of technology on insurance is profound and far-reaching. From AI-powered personalized codes to blockchain for fraud prevention, technology transforms how insurers operate and serve their customers. And as the industry continues to evolve, embracing these tech advancements will be key to staying competitive and meeting the market's ever changing needs. Thank you for your time, Gaurav. It was lovely chatting with you.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
Thank you. So, this is for our listeners. I hope you enjoy today's discussion around the future of insurance and how it will be more around leveraging technology to deliver more efficient, customer focused, and innovative services. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes, and you can view all our previous episodes on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.